This is Let's Talk Farmers Markets, the podcast that is all about farmers markets and what makes them special places to shop for your favorite local foods. I'm your host, Christina Ferroli. Welcome, everyone. Today's podcast is on youth entrepreneurs at farmers markets. I'm Christina Ferroli, your host. A youth entrepreneur is a child or young adult who starts and runs a business or finds a new way to improve how a business operates. Many Indiana farmers markets are fostering entrepreneurship by hosting youth to sell at their market. I have with me Corrin Dennis, Program Manager of Innovations Team with Junior Achievement of Northern Indiana, to talk about youth entrepreneurs at farmers markets. Corrin, welcome, and would you please introduce yourself and share a little bit about Junior Achievement and its role with youth entrepreneurs at the Young Leaders of Northern Indiana Farmers Market?
Of course, happy to be here. My name is Corrin Dennis, and like mentioned, I have been on our innovation team doing program management, and currently one of my programs that I am in charge of heading up is the Young Entrepreneur Marketplace that we do once a year for a select amount of youths in our community and area. Junior Achievement of Northern Indiana is a nonprofit organization that specializes in work and career readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. So we create programs and educational models that reflect each one of those pillars that I just mentioned. So we've got a vast array of programming and volunteer needs. So if you ever want to come down to JA and support, we always have something going on. So
Fantastic. So what is exactly youth entrepreneurship at farmers markets? What's your program about?
So our program focuses on having our young entrepreneurs come up with their own products and services without the help of any adults or parents as much as they would like to. And we give them information on how to be a successful entrepreneur. So one of my roles is to help get the kids kind of up and running with their businesses. So we will put together information sessions where at each one, we kind of cover different topics. So we might have an information session that is geared towards learning how to sell your product. How are you going to market your product? What demands are there for your product or service? And just to try and get kids to start thinking about, or I should say, start thinking in an entrepreneurial mindset. So our real focus is to make sure that these kids have a platform that they're able to kind of launch off of and feel supported and give them insights into the entrepreneurial world.
Excellent. So do children participate in your entrepreneur program during school, after school? How do you engage kids?
Yes. So with this particular program, it is just a one-day event. So we partner with the YLNI Farmers Market here in Fort Wayne, and we pick one day in the summertime. So the kids are out of school, and this also allows them some time to get their ideas together, get products together, make sure that they have enough stock to sell, and all of those kinds of things. So basically, we just do the one day, and we are looking into possibly adding on one more day in the winter, since we do have a winter market now. That has been discussed very heavily recently because we want to give students as many opportunities as possible. And the ages range from about even like third, fourth, fifth grade to up to 25.
Okay. Why would you want to start a youth entrepreneur program at a farmer's market?
Yeah, so really for us, this was kind of a no-brainer simply because entrepreneurship is one of our pillars. It's a part of our mission. We want to set kids up to have a successful future and for them to be in charge of their future. Economic freedom is very rare and few and far between these days. So any way that we can support our students and youth in realizing, okay, I can have a company on my own. I can run a business on my own, or I can have a partnership and run it with somebody else. These are all things that really fall into our values and our mission and our focus for our organization.
Excellent. So how does your youth entrepreneurship program work? Like, explain to me how do you recruit the kids?
So I was actually really lucky because a lot of that kind of back end work was done for me. We have a very extensive list of young entrepreneurs who participate in not only the Young Entrepreneur Marketplace, but they also participate in our Young Entrepreneur Summer Camp. And so each year we have kind of gained this list of students who we will reach out to, but we also promote heavily on social media. We do ads on the TV, on like your local stations. We have also ran radio ads. So really any child who is interested or student interested in joining, they are more than welcome. And so usually to get started, they will sign up and they'll make their payment for either summer camp or marketplace. And then we go ahead and send them out all of their information and get them started.
So tell me a little bit more about your summer camp and how does that work?
Yeah, Young Entrepreneur Summer Camp is probably one of my favorite programs that we do. I was actually a camp counselor this year. I wasn't in charge of it, but I had a whole lot of fun doing it. And with the Young Entrepreneur Summer Camp, we have space for, I want to say, 20 to 30 kids, and it's a week-long camp. And we do immersive activities that focus on the different pillars of an entrepreneurial mindset. So one day we would focus on persistence, and we would have a entrepreneur come in and speak to the students, and we would do activities that were geared around entrepreneurship. We went to a couple local businesses. If anyone has ever heard of the Painted Tree, it's kind of like this vendor market. They allowed our students to go in and see everybody's setups and talk to them about how they can get started and the cost of things. And then we had entrepreneurs who were at their booths there talk to the students as well about their different products, their strategies they use. So really anything that just kind of falls under that entrepreneurship umbrella, we focus on for an entire week.
How exciting. So do the kids who participate in your summer camp end up being vendors at the marketplace, the YLNI marketplace, or not necessarily? How does that work? Any inner synergy there?
Yes, there's a lot of synergy there. We have quite a few students who like to do both. And I just recently had a new camper decide that they wanted to do the Young Entrepreneur Marketplace. So we got them all set up and they were really excited and they did a great job that day. But we definitely have multiple campers who also participate because these go on so close to each other. They're just about like, I want to say a month, maybe 3 weeks apart. So
that's very exciting. So farmers markets have vendor rules and regulations. Do you cover any of that with your young entrepreneurs before they start to sell at the marketplace? How do you handle that?
I work very closely with Ashley Wagner at the YLNI Farmers Market, and she will typically get us information on any new regulations or things that maybe haven't been normal in the past, and et cetera. But typically a lot of our vendors have sold with us before, so they're pretty familiar with the YLNI Farmers Markets regulations. I think the only thing we've ever run into were there was some students who had a woodworking area and they were offering to sharpen some people's knives and things. And we were like, well, we can't necessarily do this, which is why I'm on site during the event to make sure that everybody's following all the rules. But, I would say our market is pretty relaxed and accommodating.
So how many youth do you typically have at the YLNI marketplace?
So the past couple of years, we have maxed out at around 50. But this past year, we actually had to size down in our space. So I was only able to fit 42 students. I got really close, but unfortunately, with our market growing so vastly and quickly, the space is very, very limited and it's very competitive. So we had our contract in about a year ahead of time, and we were still like, okay, are we going to have enough space? So, but like I said, we try to get at least 50 kids.
So vendors have to pay a vendor fee to sell at a market. Do your youth pay the vendor fee to the YLNI market? How does that work?
Yes, yes. So our vendor fee is, I believe, $50 at our market for a normal vendor. And since we are a nonprofit, we do work with the YLNI and have a discounted rate. So we charge our kiddos $30, and that gets them their space, that gets them a tent, that gets them a table and two chairs and signage.
That's fantastic. So what's the range of vendors that you have interest wise? Like, because obviously a farmer's market by definition is the same time, regularly. And then everything else is kind of built out depending on the community where they find themselves in and they're servicing. So what type of young entrepreneurs would be selling at the YLNI marketplace?
Yes, we have a vast array of things. So one of my favorites are these little crochet animals that this one girl does. They're adorable. She also makes these little clay figurine, and they're kind of like funky looking, like they're funky little people. And I just love them. They're nice little trinkets. We also have students there who sell spa-like things. So bath bombs, soaps, lotions. We also have a couple woodworkers. And then we have a couple 3D printer kids who make all kinds of stuff, from cup holders to little chimes that I just think are incredible. They also are out here selling jewelry. We do see a lot of jewelry, of course, bracelets, necklaces, earrings. And then I have one student who makes this silly slime that is really popular. And then we also have some food vendors. So we have our baking brothers. They make these incredible homemade loaves of bread, and some snow cone girls who are also really fun. So they were really popular this year because of how hot it was.
I can imagine. So back to the baking, there's Indiana legislation. They're covered by the home-based vendor rule. They are required to have food safety training. So do you require the students to do the safe food handler course?
I have not, and I have not been asked currently. These two brothers have been doing this for the past 4 years, I think. And we have just maintained that they need to have packaging needs to be sealed. They need to be using gloves if they are going to be handing out any samples or things of that nature. And then they also need to have all of the ingredients and things printed onto labels and put on the packaging along with expiration dates. That is something that I went over in my information session with students, that if they were going to be making food products and such like that, that it would be best to make sure that they have that information.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you. Sounds like a lot of fun. You have a wide variety of vendors, which makes it for a fun day at the marketplace. Do you have any community partners that help you besides the YLNI Farmers Market, who is hosting your one-day marketplace? But do you have other community partners?
We have in the past, but we have not the past 2 years for summer camp or marketplace. It's kind of come down to we carve this out of our budget and we make this a priority. And, most of the time I'm not even using our full budget. So sometimes I'm looking for things to enhance and do. So, and usually when we're partnering with somebody, they'll kind of bring in funds, but we just haven't felt the need for that the past couple of years.
Do you want to share some other success stories with us? Any young entrepreneur who stands out? You've already shared a couple.
Yes. So One of our success stories and one entrepreneur that I am especially proud of is Zeke Martin, and he does 3D printing. He is always very passionate about his quality of work. He brings a vast array of products that are really creative. He also really loves to step out into the community and talk to people going by and is trying to be friendly. And I just think that he really is the epitome of what a young entrepreneur is, somebody who is driven and adaptable and persistent. Zeke makes it a point to let everybody know that this is his passion, this is what he wants to do. And you get excited when he starts talking about it. And that's what I really love. We also have quite a few kids who have made their own websites and sell their own products through that and through social media. And I actually had a woman call me a couple weeks ago asking if she could get the name of one of the vendors that she bought from. And she was like, they made these really cute rice bags and I just love them and I need to get more. Can you put me in contact with them? And I was like, absolutely. I will get you their information, hang tight. I'll reach out. And when I did, they were just ecstatic. And that's really what matters to these kids is it can be the smallest thing. You could buy just one thing from them and that really sparks the interest and that kind of ignites that light where they may not have otherwise done it or kept pursuing it. So, this is exactly why we do it and try and create opportunities for our students.
That's super exciting. Thank you. Do you want to talk about some of the kids who have gone on? I think I remember there was an artist 2 years ago that was doing cards. She painted and then she would do cards and sold the cards. So I would think she's pursuing her art and her passion and also making a living of it, able to make some money. So do you want to talk a little bit about that and how participating in the YLNI marketplace enables them to keep going? Any of them that are still going, like in their 20s, have launched businesses that you know of? I don't know. Anything to that nature, if you can share, would be awesome.
Yes. I actually have one student she is 18 and she just graduated from high school. And I do know that when I talked to her this past year at the farmers market, she was very, very interested in making sure that she could do it again because she just loves this opportunity. But she also asked me to connect her with Ashley Wagner so that she could possibly have the opportunity to keep selling at the market outside of the junior achievement function, which, if we are able to bridge that gap there and help kind of launch them into a bigger space for long term, we are happy to do so. I know that she does most of her selling on social media and she's been pretty successful at it. She did say that that's how she kind of makes a little bit of side income next to her job throughout high school. And so I just think that it's really incredible to see them thrive and graduate and still want to do this and still have the interest, but also kind of have bigger aspirations to sell more and at more markets. Because she did ask me about the winter one as well. So I told her I would try and get all the information that I could for her.
And it's really exciting to hear that you're going to be launching at the winter market because that's a whole different dynamic. But there's a lot more potential there too because of the holidays. So that'll be a good opportunity for the young entrepreneurs.
Yes, and we're still kind of kicking it around internally. I actually, as sad as it makes me, I will not be the one doing this next year. We brought on a new team member who is going to handle all of our entrepreneurial kind of programming and things that connect to each of our different programs in the entrepreneurship area. So they will end up taking over this program and summer camp. So since we're doing a little reorganizing, we will definitely have conversations about a winter market since this person will hopefully have some more bandwidth to make it happen.
Well, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
As Junior Achievement, like I said, we're a nonprofit. We're always looking for volunteers. We have J in a Day and in-school programming that is always really fun to do at the K through fifth grade, and then some middle school classes. And then we also have opportunities at the high school level within some other programs. So if anyone is ever interested in volunteering, please reach out.
Excellent. Thank you, Corrin. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a true pleasure hearing about your great program, the Young Entrepreneurs at the YLNI Marketplace. So thank you, and thank you all for listening today. You've been listening to Let's Talk Farmers Markets. This podcast is copyrighted to the Indiana Cooperative Development Center, which retains all rights to the content. The podcast was produced by Lee Llewellyn at FOS Studios in Carmel, Indiana. Theme music was written and performed by Lee Llewellyn.